Welcome to Reporter Room, where we seek truth and justice. My name is Jessica Della Davies, and I'm an investigative journalist. Today, we're going to discuss Candus's and Dawn Wells' appearance on the Dr. Phil show. We're going to go over 5 important things that Dr. Phil did not tell you about the Summer Wells disappearance. We're also going to talk about the Cornbread Mafia, so let's get into it. The Cornbread Mafia is a term used to describe grassroots organized crime in Tennessee. And everything I'm about to share with you is my opinion, so please do not send any hate to anyone, anytime, anywhere. Let's be good and decent toward each other. When asked about the Cornbread Mafia, Don admitted that he knew there was organized crime in Tennessee, whereas with Candus we got a much more emotional response. We got increased respirations and even a tearing up. According to 2 of the behavior panel experts, Scott Rouse and Greg Hartley, Candus's respiration rate went up when she was discussing this matter with Dr. Phil. I have another theory as to why I think that Candus's respiration rate went up, and I'm going to share this with you in a couple of minutes, so please stay with me. Before we go any further, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up so you don't miss anything new on this case. There are 5 things about the Summer Wells case that Dr. Phil did not share with you, and they're important. 1. Don Wells has an extensive criminal background. He has been convicted of multiple felonies in multiple states. This is important in assessing his credibility. In Arkansas, Don was charged with possession of controlled counterfeit substances without a prescription and burglary between 2006 to 2007. In Utah, he was charged with attempted aggravated assault, interfering with a public servant, forgery, burglary of a dwelling, and theft. This means that he broke into people's houses. Think about that. He broke into their houses. So he's been convicted of multiple felonies and served prison time for these convictions. So it's important that we keep that in mind. 2. In Tennessee, Don was arrested in October of 2020 and charged with DV, possession of a handgun while under the influence, and unlawful possession of a weapon. Candus requested an order of protection for herself and her 4 children. 1 week later, she dropped the charges against Don and rescinded her request for protection. This past April, Don pled guilty to possession of a handgun while under the influence, and the other charges were just dismissed. On October 29th, Don was arrested again for driving under the influence. Even though he was on probation, he was released on bail. And when he returned for his court date, on the following Monday, he was arrested again for violating probation. Again, he was released on bail. So his past behavior is important. In fact, it's essential information to have when assessing his credibility, because we all know that past behavior is indicative of future behavior. 3. Don has been accused of SA by 6 women, including his own stepsister, who shared that this began when she was little, just 5 years old. This is the same age that Summer was when she disappeared, and again, this needs to be considered when weighing Don's credibility. It doesn't mean he did anything, but it does mean that his history is a concern. 4. Candus Bly has a criminal record in Wisconsin. In 2003, she pleaded guilty to charges of disorderly conduct and DV. It's unclear from the report or the records who the victim was. And again, this doesn't mean she did anything to Summer, but the DV is a concern. 5. This is not the first time one of Candus's close relatives has gone missing. Her sister, Rosemarie Bly, was last seen leaving her home in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin on October 21st, 2009. Police found her car in a truck lot 5 days later in Grantsburg, which is about 15 miles north of where she was headed, which was Cushing's. So does anyone know the odds of having 2 family members go missing within a 12-year span? By the way, I have an awesome Reporter Room true crime group on Facebook. It's free, and if you're interested, you're welcome to go and share some opinions there. If you haven't watched my video on 15 shocking lies, who is responsible, you will want to see it because I give you a detailed timeline of the day Summer went missing and multiple inconsistencies in what Candus says happened on June 15th. I will link it for you in the description below. So I'm not saying that Dawn and Candus's criminal history means that they did something to Summer, but what I am saying is that it needs to be considered along with what Candus claims happened on June 15th, the day Summer went missing. Also, don't forget to join me for Killer Coffee and Crime Time live streams at 3 p.m. New York time. It's every Wednesday, so put on your PJs, grab some snacks and coffee, and let's cozy up and chat. So I have an opinion on why I believe Candus's respiration rate increased with the mention of the cornbread mafia. It could be guilty knowledge of something, that's possible, but I don't think that's what caused it to go up. I think she was worried that Dr. Phil was going to share on national television the stunt Candus and Dawn pulled on Dawn's stepsister Mary.
Hello?
Hey, man.
Hey, what's going on, Candus?
They just took Donnie away.
Who did?
The police.
They did? How come?
I don't know. They wouldn't tell me the reason why. But they're flying off to Boston, Massachusetts.
They're flying him off to Boston?
Yeah.
Really? Oh my gosh, Candus. You know, they didn't tell you why?
No.
So what they do, they just knocked on the door and came in and cuffed him and took him?
Yeah.
Hear me out. Candus called Dawn's stepsister and pretended that Dawn had been arrested and taken to Boston. But there were some red flags in Candus's story because Candus also claimed in the same phone call where she fake cried and lied that the Mexican mafia took Dawn. She couldn't keep her nonsense straight, allegedly. I believe that this is why her respiration rate increased when she heard the word mafia. Why do you think Candus's respiration rate increased? Do you think it's because she's scared of the cornbread mafia? Or do you think it had something to do with the nonsense that she pulled on her own sister-in-law? And do you think Dawn and Candus have any credibility at all? Subscribe and leave me a comment.